Hello to week 4 of whatever this is. I mean, don't want to break the illusion too much. Oh, there we go. I just kind of, for these videos, have these two pictures that are usually on my walls. It's like sitting on the back of my futon being held up by uh, a cat tower and a light. Yeah. So people can't see my rest of my apartment, I guess. Not to break the illusion. So, I did make a video last week, last Monday actually, Labor Day, with my Labor Day video, hour and 34 minutes or so. I went through all the process of making it, recording it, uploading it to YouTube. I just didn't make it public. I just felt I was talking a lot about the education system and educators and what I think of as good and bad in the education system, which I needed to get out and I needed to say. But if literally anyone from my school heard it, they would know who I'm talking about. Like, I go into detail about disability services and the grad school and IT and various professors around campus. Don't say their names or anything. I'm pretty general about it, but since I am working at or have worked at a particular university, if anyone listened to it, they would know like exactly who I'm talking about. Uh, so yeah, I also use a lot of colorful language. I'm very opinionated on what's good and bad in the education system. But I'll give a basic brief rundown of a recap of that video as quickly as possible. This is like the eighth time I've tried recording this because of various technical issues, as well as just randomly trailing off and forgetting what I'm talking about and wanting to start over because I'm a bit sick this week. Or like a new sickness developing. I can feel the throat soreness, and I'm I guess a bit high on Dayquil, and just not really feeling too much into being passionate and talking about art and stuff. And plus, my head's a little like groggy, and my thoughts are a bit wobbly, if that's a word that can be used to describe thoughts. Like imagine thoughts, but behind a layer of like a wobbly texture. Hard to pinpoint anything down in my mind, and hard to express anything as well. But I'm sure you know what it's like to be sick and unable to think correctly and talk and behave 100% as you usually would. And had a lot of random speed bumps and whatnot in life over these last couple weeks. Nothing couldn't speed bumps, not brick walls, Nothing's gonna stop me from doing things I enjoy. A big problem I've been having, just I guess we're talking about personal stuff for the first few minutes. Big problem I've been having is well, first let's start with the success. Like I've been working really well at establishing daily routines, daily habits, eating and all of it that entails exercising, getting sun, sleeping, relaxing, doing hobbies, etc. that you have to do every day. Been very good at establishing habits like that. I kind of started in full, like doing a daily full schedule at the beginning of this summer, 2023. So I'm not even like I'm about like 3 months into even attempting to have like a set daily schedule to like get progress work or tells you I'm sick. Getting progress done towards long-term goals and stuff on a daily basis. Like knowing I'm going to be working from home, and that's sort of my goal in life, and establishing those is very important. That's been going well. And I'm just running into the issue now of there's too much stuff I want to do in a daily basis. And even if I'm only putting like 4 hours of into like actively working towards like my dissertation and school stuff, including like meetings and emails and meeting with students and like reading stuff and working on it. If I put like 4 hours of work a day into that, then it kind of conflicts with so many other things in my like daily schedule, and it's hard to do all the different aspects of art that I want to do. Like I want to, like when I can break down art into like my musical aspects of art and the more graphical aspects of art, and each of those has its own like sub hobbies in it. Like part of music is learning guitar, all the different aspects of guitar, learning microphones, learning audio mixing and audio mastering, songwriting, singing, videos to an extent, and a bunch of other stuff. And then there's like my app development stuff I've been trying to work on and establishing the grounds of small business designing, building apps and games, uh, which has its own parts like Blender and Unity and just all the graphical. I'm already getting lost in my wobbly thoughts, trying to list things and talk like this is a lecture or something. But just generally, the purpose of that was, or that thought was, there's too much stuff to do in your day, and I'm also like have to do like all my daily chores and activities, cleaning and cleaning myself and cleaning the apartment and whatnot. Learning ASL. I want to do that every day. I'm also trying to learn music theory, like the sort of science, I guess, behind the chords and the notes and how they sound and everything, minors and majors and whatnot. And I guess I should be like, texting and emailing people in my life and like keeping up socially with stuff. And I also like reading, and I want to read, and I like listening to music, and I like watching YouTube videos, and I like playing video games, and I like Twitch streams, and there's like 500 different things I want to do on each day because I love doing a bunch of different stuff. It's so hard. So I've been trying to, or I'm going to be implementing it more next week. Thinking a lot about weekly schedules of having like certain days when I do different things. Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's going to be heavy work days, along with 2 or 3 other like hobbies that kind of coincide with work, schoolwork stuff. And then Tuesday and Thursdays are going to be more app development and art kind of focused days, as well as like making sure I do ASL, so I have at least a couple days worth of keeping up with it a week, and music theory, like my learning hobbies and whatnot. And then Saturdays I have these videos, and usually make some good progress in music in one area or another, just to create these. And Sundays more try to relax, I guess, and whatnot. But still figuring it out. Still figuring it all out, how to try to fit everything in on like a weekly basis, where I'm doing all my daily activities and staying happy and positive and getting everything done I need to get done, and make progress towards long-term goals. And then this sequence of videos, series of videos is a good example of that. Of this, I gave myself Saturdays to make quick little spurts of progress and towards my album in one way or another. Been very slow with school going on and trying to figure out how to fit all this stuff in with actual work, but getting there, I guess. I mean, I'm still doing it. This is week 4. Like I said, I did make one last week. It's just lost in the ether. I'm not lost, just hidden in the ether. Whatever, I'm already rambling. It's already lasting too long. I'm already talking too much. It's already starting to hurt my throat. I'm already feeling more exhausted. So let's talk about whatever I'm going to talk about this week. Personality, very briefly. Talk about it much more detail in other videos outside of this journal thing. and adjectives. And that'll lead into what professionalism is. It'll lead into my alternate personality or my artistic personality with an R. No one, and then a song. And then as quickly as I can, I'm going to get through this. And hopefully it records correctly and I don't have to run into any technical issues or restart again. So personality is not just about people, even though the word person is in it. Personality can be used to describe anything. This couch, this painting, any piece of art, any song, any movie, any person, any animal, any location, any event can be used or can be given a personality or described in terms of its personality or its uniqueness. What kind of defines it as a thing is kind of how I view personality, and after studying it for years. I got interested in it when I got into psycholinguistics and language, as well as I was doing research on emotion, and emotions are just words. Like the word happy is just like an adjective used to describe scenarios or people or things, or sad or anxious or bored or excited or exhausted. All these different words to use to describe your state of being in the world as best as possible. Entirely inaccurate, because our feelings and thoughts really have no words initially. We just attempt to express them in words, and it's and other people's expectations and ideas of what we should do as well are hard to understand, hard to know, and it's always hard to know like what the best thing to do is in the world at any given time. And words are just some balance between those two things that are wordless and sort of formless of ourselves, our body and our brains and our feelings and thoughts, and our idea of expectations and how we should act. So words like emotions and any sort of adjectives are used to kind of bridge the gap between those two extremes. I represent in my art as red coming from within and the blue coming from the expectations and such. So yeah, anything can have a personality. And we learn in the thousands, potentially millions of adjectives used to describe different aspects of what something is, how it is, what makes it unique. If a person is fast or slow, tall or short, ugly or pretty or beautiful, or happy or sad, or blah, blah, blah. Male, female, in terms of sex, in terms of gender, also adjectives. Sexualities, straight and gay and stuff, all just adjectives. Christian, Muslim, religions and stuff, just adjectives that we use to attempt to describe some undescribable belief system or undescribable aspect of something. Our best attempts are... that's enough about adjectives. Whatever. It works very uniquely in the brain. I use it to build initial concepts, initial ideas of something in my brain in a very effective way. If I want to start an album, I want to start an app, I want to become a artist or a professor or something, everyone starts by building the general idea of how they want it to exist. And this is my approach to doing that in an effective way with 5 to 7 adjectives. And in doing so, you kind of describe the unique aspect of something. There are personality tests out there within psychology, like there's the Myers-Briggs test, which is non-scientific garbage, and there's like the Big Five ocean personality thing, which is a lot more scientifically grounded. And there is other personality tests like the I-Sync personality test, and various other tests, but they all use adjectives to describe somebody's personality, like how introverted or extroverted are you, or how much. No, it's like I forget where I was going with that sentence. Sorry, a wobbly thought just got lost sideways, and I forgot where I was going with it. But yes, we can use all these words to describe anything, whatever. So I thought a lot about what an artist is in particular. I'll refrain from talking about what a professor is and other things, which I talked about in previous iterations of this video before I unrecorded them. But an artist, after thinking about it a lot, researching it as much as I could, it's not really too much in the scientific literature about what is like an artist. Kind of come to the conclusion that an artist is no one, and that's who I try to be as an artist. That's my artistic personality is no one. Kind of I just do things without words or without thinking about how I'm going to express them to people. I just act and I do as much as possible. Well, with when I'm doing art or when I'm doing this video, I'm just blabbling on about things. Blabbling is not a word, by the way, but I like it. And good mistakes come out of it like that, and more so, like it is just like as much as possible some raw expression of what one thinks and feels, because that's more on the artistic side than product side. That the more I sit and think about, okay, how am I going to design my PowerPoint, and what pictures am I going to use, and what words am I going to use, and what words are going to be on the slide, and what words I'm going to say, and how am I going to lay things out, and what's the perfect ideal way to do everything. The more I do that, the more it's or the less it's art to me, and the more it is a product and a thing I'm trying to create to manipulate people's thoughts and feelings towards some direction or another. So the more I can remove that element of people's expectations from me acting and doing things artistically, the better, more artistic it is. Even though the less comprehensible it is and the less understandable it is, that's perfectly fine with me. I want to be incomprehensible and understandable with artistic stuff, because it's an expression of myself and my thoughts and feelings about things. So the more I can crowd it in allegories and nonsensical transitions and scatterbrained thoughts and stuff and noise, the better. I love noise. I love mistakes one makes while just blankly doing things without thinking about them, which I wish I could say I was doing now 100%, but like I said, there's like the 6th or 7th attempt I've had at recording this video, and I usually get to this slide and I start trailing off on random things and like that, and then there's big pauses like that, and because of the wobbly nature of being sick and being high on Dayquil, I just completely forget what I'm talking about and what point I'm trying to make. When I'm teaching, I have like 40 PowerPoint slides filled with pictures and terms and stuff that guide me along from each step to the next, because I know I need that to keep on track and for people to appreciate what I'm doing. And that is much more a product than it is art. And I mean, to some extent, there's spur of the moment expression of certain things while teaching, but for the most part, it's thought out. I don't know. I don't really want to talk about anything else on here. Maybe have before, but who cares? So, speaking of teaching and stuff, I said last week I talked about teaching a lot for an hour and 34 minutes. And I'll recap that a little bit in relation to adjectives and personality. So I had to kind of just like I had to kind of decide what kind of artist I wanted to be, I had to be no one as much as possible to fully like be an artist and not get too caught up in making everything perfect and making everything a one like a product. I did the same thing with teaching. I forget the exact adjectives I used to build my idea of an educator back then. Maybe I recorded it somewhere. Maybe it's written somewhere in a video somewhere. I don't know. It changes from time to time, and I sat down and created a new list when I created this slide that not only applies to teachers but also the education system. And a word that some people might use is they try to be professional as possible in their job, and that's a very complicated term that most people use incorrectly. And professional is an adjective in itself, and it means something, but according to Google, it's the competence or skill expected of a professional, uh, which is a very unprofessional definition. I should have my own definition as an artist and not rely on Google's definitions. And basically, what that Google definition means is that, or says, is that it depends on the profession. That if you're a nurse, you have to act and behave in a certain way. I use the word nurse, or I use nurse as an example because like 3/4 of my students are nurses. Or if you're a police officer, you're required to be professional in a very certain way. If you're a teacher, it's different. If you're, a professional sports player, it's different. If you're a dancer, it's different. If you're an accountant, it's different. Professionalism depends on the profession you're talking about. And basically what it means is you do the right things, you have the right knowledge and skills and express them in the right way in the current context of your job. But most people use the term professional to mean emotionally distant, basically, or impersonal, which is very, very different. And so I've run into a lot of cases in the education system. I won't get into specific details because I've already done that in a secret video. But a lot of people say they're just being professional. They're just doing their jobs. That's the expression you hear a lot in the education system or any profession, I would guess, where people just come into work as late as they can, leave as early as they can, take as many vacation days as they can, and do the bare minimum during their jobs to get a salary or get their pay, and that's just doing your job. But that's not professionalism. That's like being professional as a teacher means a lot of things that I'm going to get into. Being professional as a clinical psychologist means being emotionally distant and not getting too connected to people because that could be detrimental to you or the patient. Being professional as a police officer means a certain level of emotional distance because you don't want to feel too many emotions when you're like working on a murder scene or something that could really impact you. Or if you're in the military, it's professional to emotionally distance yourself. If you're a lawyer, you can emotionally distance yourself. But as a teacher, as a nurse, as a customer support person or waitress or bartender or something, there's an expectation of in your profession, you are intended to be sociable and agreeable and treat people as human beings and be a human being. And that's the general gist of what I'm about to say with describing educators specifically. That the two primary findings I've found from doing research into the education system, like I taught one whole class on education, and I have a week or two on it and developmental psych, and I talk about it a bit in other classes. Yes. The research says that students learn more and get more out of the experience and are happier, having increased well-being if you treat them as individual human beings as much as possible. And you are like a human being as much as possible and not like a robot. So that's why they're my two biggest must-haves for being a professional in the education system, or any sort of profession, nurse or doctor or something. Treat people as individuals and treat people as human beings, and they're ergo, I guess I'm using that word right. I have no idea. That's how the education system should be treating students, and that's what they should expect of everyone working in it, from people working in disabilities and IT and uh, just a general all staff and all faculty of a university or any school should be held to this quality of professionalism, and they should be treating people as individuals and treating people as human beings. And that's just sort of irrefutable, scientific research that has gone into showing that time and time again in all levels of education. Those two vastly important things as an educator, as well. Sorry, I'm tired on top of being exhausted from sickness and whatnot. I'm not even going to go over the rest of them. Current, adaptable, transparent, efficient, and selfless. Those are my ideas of what professionalism is within the realm of education. What standards individual educators should hold themselves to, and education systems should hold individual educators to, and punishing people who don't sort of fit within that, and punishing and then fixing parts of the system that don't fall into that, of staying up to date and modern, and adapting to changes in times. And I could go into this for an hour and 34 minutes again, but I won't. Complaining about education. And the reason I'm talking about all this is, yes, we'll get into, like, this song is a lot about being an educator, or just being anyone who's like higher up, who people rely on, who has influence and the potential to affect the lives of other human beings. It's about some of the internal conflict I went through in like shaping myself into this educator who is not me, because I don't talk in front of 150 people. I had to like create a personality to teach in front of people, and it's about I had politics on the mind a lot when I was writing this song. This is the first song I wrote specifically for this album. I started writing it like after I'd finished my first album, and when I started writing the second album and got the idea, I started from scratch and finished it. Other songs I started or finished beforehand and weren't really necessarily part of the album yet. I didn't really know the themes, but looking back on them, they fit into it well, and I'll get into those as they come along. Like even the title song, "Who Counts the Trees," I mean, it didn't start as that name, but the song started before the album idea and concepts really came into place, and then the rest of the song kind of was written after the themes had already been thought out. But this is the first song I intentionally started with the idea of like writing from the perspective of a politician. Oh, whoops, it's at the end. Yeah. Yeah. So what was I saying? So here's the like card for it, and I was sort of exploring some of the general themes of the album, like noise and influence and manipulation of higher ups. Oh, and there's some of the like light sheep imagery throughout some of the songs in the album. And so I kind of try to represent it graphically as quickly as I could in PowerPoint. For last week's video, the sheep are jumping over from one side to the other, blue, red, back and forth. Who cares? It's all just, I mean, the fence doesn't really exist. It's just an illusion in our minds. I don't know, we can just go back and forth around it. Or something like that, something that sounds more artistic. Who cares? So this is my alternate artistic personality. Like I said, it's sort of the absence of any personality as much as possible, represented in different ways by different aspects of the outfit. And yeah, it's not really fully. It's always tentative. Like it's always something that could change. Like I say, it's not a product. It's not something I'm trying to sell or push. It's not a finished thing. It never will be a finished thing. Even when I publish an album, it's not a finished product. It's just something that's constantly dragged along by the current, sort of in motion, and it could change. The lyrics could change, and I think I make a few mistakes, like in the song. I just whatever. I wrote them into the lyrics or the subtitles, which I'm controlling. Or my past self is controlling, if that makes any sense. So what I've said at all the last few minutes. So many things I could talk about here, but let's talk about some technical stuff. Like I'm using, I went back to my electric guitar for this. It is intended for electric guitar. I've been thinking more and more for the album. I'll probably just stick with acoustic stuff and like simple recordings for everything. Because in order to learn the amount of stuff that I would need to learn to like add drums and bass and complicated mixing and mastering and whatnot and effects and everything that come with electric guitars and multiple layers of instruments and stuff. Again, that's moving away from the artistic expression of it and more towards a product. Or maybe this is just an excuse for me to do less work. But I like the idea. Yeah, whatever. I like the idea of just everything being acoustic and more raw in the actual finished album, but just this song by itself, if it didn't exist within the album, would definitely be electric guitar. And some of the other elements that are in it, like wearing a mask, they're themes of the song itself. And you can see from the picture a lot of static, and in the video itself, I'm playing on my TV, which is in front of me, like an 8-hour static and white noise YouTube video. So you can kind of see it in the glasses once or twice, and you can definitely hear the white noise as it's playing. A big part of the song and the themes of the song, but obviously I wouldn't have that in the final like album version, even though that's an aspect of the song, because it really wouldn't sound good. So to some extent, the album has to be a little bit of a product at least. I don't know. There's this constant conflict between like, should I be making a song for other people, or should I? But I'm not really making it for myself either. Like when I'm playing it like this, it's more like I'm making it fit the actual like themes and sounds of the song itself. So it should have static, and it should have mistakes, and it should be kind of unprofessional, unproduced. But in an actual album, it needs to be a bit produced. I don't know. I'll find the balance at some point. I'm going to start more and more experimenting with audio setups, like putting microphones in different parts of the guitar, using different effects and stuff on my mixer just to capture the sound better and make it sound good. What else can I do but just play the song, I guess? I'm going to be playing I mean, I could just play this video of me playing the song, but instead I'm playing the whole sort of kit and caboodle here of last week, me scrolling down the subtitles and playing the song and bobbing my head along to it. Why? What else? What else do I need to say? I don't know what. I don't know what would be useful to myself in the future to say right now and to express. Nah, let's just play a song. Okay, I'm up here. Now what? Now what? Sorry about that. Loud static. I also have white noise playing in the background. I'm all alone up here, deep in the atmosphere. I'm all alone up here, deep in the atmosphere. Time and time I've lied for you, oh what a waste. I bite my tongue out, but then how'd I taste? I climbed the ladder to a quieter place, but now I'm stuck up here. I can't even count the odds of them against me. I can't breathe when I hear everyone around me breathing. I can't sleep, no, don't remind me there are sheep all around me. I can't seem to count on them at all. Looks like you're searching for a solution. That's a lovely thought. They'll pay your dues for an education, but that's always been bought. Yeah, I'm part of the government, but I'm totally here for you. So shake my hand and we'll take a stand for whichever cause you choose. Oh, don't go in and blind your signs from a peripheral point of view. To flash your screen with the latest tragedies in red or blue. And you know how the news you choose goes on and on and on and on. It's safe to fly, but we're up too high and the oxygen's all gone. I'm all alone up here, deep in the atmosphere. I'm all alone up here, deep in the atmosphere. Time and time I've died for you, oh, is me. For a quarter of a century, I don't belong in high society, so I'll just disappear. When I'm bleeding, I collect the drops that fall around me. They can't see me if I coat myself in it to blend in. All sleep when their dreams and mine are better matching. Though I can't seem to order them at all. No, I'm not asking for absolute
switch sides from a peripheral point of view. To flashing screens with the latest tragedies in red or blue. And don't you hate when the news we choose drones on and on and on and on? I'd say to breathe, but we're in too deep and the oxygen's all gone. I'm all alone out here, deep in the atmosphere. I'll die alone up here.
Oh man. And one other thing about that recording, like, just like with this current video I'm talking in, I attempted to play it like 5, 6 times, and I got lost in thought, or made some big mistake or something, and had to stop and restart. As well, like the air conditioner's off, so it's hot, and I'm behind a mask, and it's just like I'm trying to sing into it, and just getting really hot and annoyed and frustrated. But I just kept pushing through. Like, I could have taken a break and relaxed and practiced a bit and played it again like perfectly and calmly and stuff. That's not the goal of the song, and I'm happier with it being like the seventh take without any sort of breaks than if it were just like perfect the first time, or heavily practiced and whatever. Same thing with this video. Whatever. And I'm sure I'd have a lot of stuff to talk about if I continue to think about it more. But honestly, I don't even remember what I have and haven't talked about in this video, because it's number 7 or whatever on the list of attempts, and since it's not scripted, I have no idea what I have or haven't said at one point or another. But that's fine. It's fine with me. I think I'm good this week. Yeah. Not sure. Well, I'm not sure entirely yet what I want to do next week. I have a song I'm taking to the songwriters group. I'll probably end up playing that as well. Daydream HD. Maybe. I haven't really decided. I'm picking between that and another song. I don't know who I'm telling that to, though. Just try to extend the length of the video and come to some big conclusion about the whole thing. I guess I've always been bad at ending things. Always bad at knowing what to say or knowing how to finish a song, if I haven't already mentioned that once or twice. But that's fine. That's part of my personality, I guess, at this point. It's just I'm bad at ending things. Anyways, I feel like I should have some big ending, like a moral or something, or like I don't know. Whatever. Bye.